This is the Rolling with Tay podcast. I'm your host, Tasia, aka Tay, and this is episode 11. And on this episode, I have Eric, who is my cousin. He recently picked up a new hobby, and I want to talk to him about it and get some more information about it and how he got started. But yeah, Eric, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Great to be on here. It's my first podcast ever doing, so I'm excited.
Oh, I'm glad to have you here. I want to talk to you about your new hobby. But this new hobby that you picked up has basically been around you your whole life, right?
Yeah, I would say so. Just from my dad to my uncles and everything. But yeah, it's been around basically my whole life.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll jump right into right into it. What made you pick up golf as a hobby?
Well, it's a funny story, I guess. It kind of goes long ways. When I was little, my dad and uncles would come up, for Thanksgiving. They would come up for Fourth of July, and they would always, I believe, on a Sunday, like they would all be gone, and I'd be like, "Hey, where's everybody at?" And I asked my mom or whatever. Like I was like, "Oh, they went golfing." So I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." Like so, they go the whole day. They come back. Who won? Who won? And at the end of the day, it was always my one uncle, Madison, that would always win. And sometimes I guess they bet money, sometimes not. So this was going when I was, from when I was younger to to today. And I guess just that being, every time they come up, they have their golf clubs, they get dressed, they ready, and didn't really think much of it. I went to college, and I know my one friend said, "Hey, do you guys want to go golfing?" And we were kind of like, "Yeah, why not?" We were bored, there's nothing to do that day. I remember it was a cloudy day, and I went, and we played golf, and me and my one roommate, we are just like hitting the ball as hard as we could. It's going off into the trees. It's going off all over, and it was enjoyable to a sense because I was just like, you know what, I think I'm gonna play this game, but just not now because of it was a lot of disciplines that I didn't have at that time. So as I got older, you know, um, I wanted to try something new, and like golf is, like I said, subconsciously just was kind of always kind of coming up, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try golf, and that's kind of how I, kind of got started. I mean, it was nothing, crazy, but I think since it's been around all my life, it was bound to happen sooner or later.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Uncle Madison for always winning.
Yeah, every time I remember they used to come back with those faces like, "Who won?" And they're like, "Yeah, Young Madison won." Like, oh, all right. So
So, all right, now you're like, all right, I'm going to start golfing. What
right.
are your steps? How do you begin to learn? Are you asking your dad? Are you getting a coach? Are you watching YouTube videos?
So me personally, the first thing I did was I told my dad. I was like, "Hey, Dad, listen, I think I want to get into golf." So that automatically set him off. He was like my dad is not a very emotional person. He doesn't show really that much emotion, like happy, sad. He'll talk, he'll laugh like when he needs to be, but like I think this is the first time that I seen his eyes like light up. And basically he was just like, "Okay, this is what you need to do first." And for a second it was kind of quick. It was just like, whoa, like, hold on. I don't have anything. I don't know really much of anything. Um my uncle, near my parents' house, my uncle has some land, and it's good enough that you could make like a mini golf course, like just one hole. So he took me there, and I started swinging his clubs and stuff like that. So then he's like, this is the first lesson. You need to hold it a certain grip, a certain way, so you have control over your club and the ball. So that was like literally the first thing I learned was to grip the club properly. Um, The second thing is that my dad was telling me, he was like, I can't give you, and I appreciate for him for doing this because I think this is hard for anybody of his age or anybody to sit here and say this. And he said, like, the second thing you need to do is find yourself a coach. So I'm like, well, why can't you teach me? He's like, Eric, listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. I am self-taught. I have bad habits. I
Mm,
don't want you to have any bad habits when playing this game
mm,
because bad habits in golf are very hard to break. As any sports person knows out there, if you have a bad habit and you've been doing it for years, it's very hard to, somebody to sit here and say, hey, you're doing this wrong, and then show you the right way.
mm-hmm,
And then you adjust to that way. And then when you're playing, in the game and stuff like that, to just automatically go to that. It's muscle memory. So you're erasing the memory of your muscles and you're retraining them, and it takes time and it takes practice, and it takes, sometimes it takes months and years to do that. If, like I said, anybody out there that plays a sport, it's very hard to change a very bad habit you've been doing for almost your whole time playing because you got far
mm-hmm.
with it. And when somebody's like, no, you have to shoot like this, or no, you have to run like this. No, you have to jump like this.
Yeah,
And
it's hard to change.
yeah, it's hard to change because first you do it very slowly, and you have to keep doing it slowly. Then you build progressively up to the point where you're automatically just doing it. Like your old habit. So, um, so he told me that he's just saying like, I have bad habits. I want you to learn how to do it the right way. So I want you to go out and find somebody like a professional golfer, go to one of the golf things and get some lessons. So I was like, okay, So we hit the ball around or whatever like that. He was just trying to teach me certain things, basic stuff, feet stands, how to swing the club, what to do when you get to this point in the swing, you know, uh, like that basic stuff to get a ground footing. He said, like, also too, watch, go on YouTube, watch pros. That's another thing he told me. He said, watch professionals, um, watch the pros golf. Watch YouTubes of people hitting the ball, like just fluently, like not like breakdown, like just watch them play. Um, just like with anybody, when they watch football, basketball, baseball, like just
Mm-hmm.
watch them play, and then that's how people kind of get into it. Um, but that's how, like, that was the second thing he taught me, or second step that he taught me. The third thing is that I went to, I went to this golf course. It's a country club. It's called the Villa Roma, upstate New York. And I went in there and I scheduled an appointment. He said, "Do you want a half an hour, an hour?" I wanted to be able to have time to practice the basics, so I was like an hour. So yeah, and then I kind of went from there. I met with the coach. He wanted to see what I knew, what I could do. I didn't know much about stances and everything like that, so he was like, he was showing me how to, grip the club again. He was showing me the stance. I started hitting the ball, and he was like, "Wow, you have really good power. Like when hitting the ball, like you distance, so you don't have a problem moving the ball." And it was good feedback. It was good and bad feedback. Like, this was a good feedback because my swing was really good. They said driving the ball or hitting the ball was really good, but you just need to kind of practice. Like, that's kind of what I got at the end of my first lesson. Is you're really good. You just need to kind of practice at the end of the day. Like, keep working on these basics.
Mm-hmm.
The second one, I want to say it was the same thing, kind of. We worked with different clubs. Um, I didn't know different clubs, sizes, when you use them, when you not use them. So I kind of was learning that. Um, what a driver is, what a hybrid is, what a 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4 iron, 3 iron, putter, um, what a woods is, what a 3 woods is, what a 5 woods is. I was just getting acquainted with the clubs. Um, Next step was obviously getting clubs. So I was renting, like the guy that was teaching me, the Villaroma golf shop was giving me clubs to rent. So I was hitting with those clubs. Um, So, I'm talking to my dad, and he's like, you need some clubs. And I'm like, yeah, like I need clubs or something like that. So he was just like, well, you can use some of mine, but you're gonna have to get your own. And I'm like, yeah, no, I know. So, I guess my dad told my uncle Madison, and I was talking to him, and he was like, I have some old clubs for you. I
Mm,
have my old ones. So I'm like, okay, cool. So he's like, let me get them out the, excuse me, let me get them out the attic, and you can use them. So I'm like, all right, cool. So get them out the attic, bags all beaten up. Look at the clubs. Just you could tell like they just been used. They just been worn down. It was so bad that the grips on the clubs, because it's rubber,
mm,
was chip. It was dry and chipping off. So I don't know if anybody knows, like when rubber like is out in the sun and then like or just worn just time
yeah.
after time after years,
Mm-hmm.
it starts to like crack and chip. Those are my club grips. So some of my parts I had good grip on them, and then there's other parts where it's just straight up I'm touching the metal. I'm touching the metal. Yeah, I'm just touching metal. So I'm like, all right, whatever. Like I got clubs now. I'll rock with these. Some of them were good. Most of them were bad. I can tell the ones that he used a lot because those were the ones that were really trash, and then the other ones he didn't use a lot, they had all the grips. So I'm like, all right. So I started practicing with that. I had my grip down. Just seeing where I'm hitting the ball at. And this is on my own time. Um, just a couple minutes, maybe an hour here, hour there. I'll drive to the lot that my uncle has to hit balls. Go in my backyard just to hit. And then I'd come back and I'd say, hey, listen, my ball is doing this. And he would say, okay, like that's the easy fix. Like this is why you're doing this. And he'd show me, and I'm like, okay, cool. And then I do it, and then kind of, yeah, it just kind of build up from there until um, wintertime came. So like when because I used to go to a driving range near my house, when the snow and everything stopped, I kind of couldn't practice like that. So
So I have a question. So you backtracking a little bit. So you said when
mhm.
you first started, you booked an hour at a golf club. I
Mhm.
mean, yeah, golf club, right? So
Golf, yeah, golf, yeah,
golf course. So
yeah, like a country club, yeah.
what did that hour entail? Like, was it just a driving range? Did you play? Did you go to different holes? What, what did you do when you first went to the golf course?
The very first thing that when I went there is we went to the driving range. That was the first thing. Um, it's just like any person that goes like with sports wise. I am. It's like you go like when you're warming up to play basketball,
Mm-hmm.
you go to the rim and you start shooting. Now, if you're shooting deep threes like your Steph Curry for your first shots, uh, I mean, it's not a thing to do. So you kind of get your shot going. You get your swing going. You drive the ball, you kind of get warmed up. So the first thing we did was the same thing that pros do. We go to the driving range
Mm-hmm.
and, we hit the ball and we seen, what basically your golf ball tells you everything about what you've done right and what you've done wrong. And so that was the first thing that I had to learn was the grip of the club. This is how you grip the club. If you turn it this way, your ball's going to do that. If you turn it that way, your ball's going to do this. If you come down too slow, this is what your ball's going to do. If you come down too high on it, this is what you're going to do. Um, so he was familiarizing me with the ball and the clubs and what they do when you twist your hand this way or when you twist your hands that way or when you that was like the first lesson. The
Mm-hmm.
second one of that because that was like I think one about 25 minutes we are just doing the placing of the hands on the club. I didn't even hit a ball yet at this time. Like it was
Mm-hmm.
just the placement of everything. The second one was my feet. How far am I supposed to have my feet when you're driving the ball? Um, different. You're supposed to have different stances for different lengths of when you're hitting the ball. If you're hitting the ball far, you want to have more of an athletic stance, sort of with the part. If you're putting, for example, your feet are going to be a lot closer. You don't need to be, have an athletic stance putting, because it's more of a touch. It's not necessarily power you're going after.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the second one, was just my feet in the stance. And like when I'm driving, like this is what you do with the driver. This is how your feet should be when you have a 9 iron, when you have an 8 iron. Get a little closer if you're trying to just kind of chip it up into the air, lob it. Um, so we kind of worked on, like he was telling me about like certain clubs and what you can do with them. The third lesson of that time, I think it was like 20 more minutes before my lesson ended, and that's when I started to hit the ball. And then, I would do something, I'll be like, shoot. And then he'll say, see, this is why you did this, because this is what your body did. I was like, okay. So I change it and like, okay, you're getting better, but you need to keep your body parallel and stay in the same thing. You're moving a little bit too much. So and then we just kind of worked on that stuff. And then, 10 minutes, he's like, oh no, that's really good. That you're doing good. This is really good. You've improved a lot in this first lesson.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's kind of like how my first lesson ran down. And then he asked me, he's like, "Do you want to take another?" He asked me when everything was over, he's like, "Do you like this?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I like it. It's a little different, but I like it." That was the first thing, and I do appreciate that, because he was like, "Do you like this?" Because there's no point of you doing all this, and then you're sitting there, and he's like, you know, "Nah, I'm not really feeling this." And like I said, he would have just been like, "Okay, cool. Like, it's great that you came and tried it out. I'm sorry you don't like it, but you don't like it." But it's a good thing that you try this out. So, and now it's the last thing. And then he was like, "Do you want to book again?" I said, "Yeah, sure, absolutely." So I went and I called my dad, and I was like, I learned this, learned this, learned this, and then he was giving me his opinions on what he does, and yeah, and that was basically kind of like my first day, or like lesson day, when I first started to do golfing.
Hmm. Okay. So, are there any other activities that you do that you feel that help you playing golf?
Um, well, all my life I've been playing sports. Like I said, when I was little, I played soccer. I did hockey, big basketball. I played basketball since I was in like third or fourth grade, third grade, and basically played college and everything like that. When I decided to take it, there was some similarities. Since I do basketball, footwork is probably like one of the most important things.
Mm-hmm.
So for me to be able to get in an athletic stance, or for me to be able to, like when you're playing defense in basketball, like you have to shuffle your feet, you have to be in an athletic stance to, to guard somebody. And that helps because you kind of know the footwork of it all. It helps me also because I am athletic. Um, so that's a plus.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but basketball helps me. Hockey a little bit, because with the puck and everything, like with
Yeah.
the stick, you
Right.
have to. So
Mm-hmm.
that, like in my background too, a little bit. Even though I haven't played hockey in so long, but like that also helps me a little bit as well. Um, but I want to say probably, like I said, basketball was, like I said, you could kind of correlate a little bit with it, not much, but like I said, as opposed to like stance, like your athlete, your footwork and everything like
Mm-hmm.
that. Um, Yeah, I think more, I know he was referring also, like with one of my lessons, he did baseball, and
Mm.
baseball also helps too. I had never really played baseball like that, but baseball absolutely helps too, because it's kind of almost the same. It's almost the same type of steps that you have to do with baseball and,
Yeah, I can see that.
golf,
Yeah.
with the
Mm-hmm.
stance, and then like how you come through and you swing, and it's more like with the rotation of your hips and your upper body.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Same thing with golf. It's, your power doesn't necessarily come from your arms. It comes from, like your torso and your upper, and your torso and in that area.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can, if you're in sports like that and you're translating to golf, that definitely really helps. But more or less, I want to say, me being athletic definitely did give me a little bit of advantage of trying something new like golf. Not saying if I wasn't, I'd be horrible at it or anything, but it does make me compensate for certain things.
Mm-hmm.
With that.
Yeah, I can see that, especially like you're saying with the stance,
Mm-hmm.
with basketball. Um, what do you feel is the most challenging part for you learning to play golf?
Ooh, that's a good one. Um, Golf is so technical, and just like I was saying before, if you do something at the last second, like your ball tells you basically everything that you've done. If you hit the ball perfectly, sometimes that means like everything you did was correct. Your stance was right, you came down on your backswing good, like you made great connection, and the ball goes where you want it to go, straight. Repeating that. Now, cool, you got the ball to fly straight one time. Do it again. Do the same thing. Come, wind up or whatever, backswing, here we go. Boom, the ball starts to cut left. What the heck did I do wrong? I thought I did everything wrong. All right, like I don't understand. Or I cut it. They have names for this when it goes to the left and then goes to the right. So you have to now think like, what did I do wrong? I did it right before. What the heck did I do wrong? And then being able to identify it and then try to eliminate it so you can hit the ball straight. And it comes to being consistent. Consistent with your swing, your stance, everything like that. That's a challenging thing because just like with any sport, you do it, over and over and over again. With golf, you do it, and the same thing that you were taught or like that, and the ball pulls left or the ball pulls right, and you're not understanding that. And it's like you said, it's just a consistency of doing it right all the time, and to stay and basically just to stay in the game. Meaning, it's a lot of mental
Mm.
stuff. So like I said, you can play. As everybody knows, there's 18 holes in golf, and say you hit bad the first 4 holes. Mentally, you can't be getting down on yourself. You can't sit there and be like, "Dang, I hit bad these 4 holes. Oh my gosh!" You kind of have to forget that. Um,
Gotta move forward.
yeah, you got to move forward. Like, okay, I hit the ball bad. This is what I did. Identify it and try to and then you move forward. And with practice, that's what you have to try to do. Is you try to get yourself mentally strong. Um, and I think with any sport, it's like that, and just with anything, it's like that. That's also a challenge. And I think with anybody playing sports, it's a challenge. Like you said, Steph Curry, he will miss 5, 6 threes, and airball one or two, but that don't stop him from shooting it. And it's just and he don't stop. He keep going. He identifies. Oh dang, this is what I did wrong. This is what I gotta do. Cool. Gets back in the game, shoots it, and starts hitting the threes. Sometimes he has bad games, and I like to be, I'm kind of a perfectionist in a way because I like to do it right, and if I don't get to do it right, I can get a little bit frustrated myself. I'm like, what the heck is going on? And that's another struggle or just an obstacle that I have to go through. Is like, oh, I didn't hit this right, and it kind of just identify it and be like, okay, and just kind of keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Move forward, forget about it. There is a good rule that Tiger Woods said. It's called the 10-second rule. When you play golf and you hit a bad shot or something like that, only spend about 10 seconds on it, on dwelling on that bad shot. And he said the things you should be doing is identifying what you did wrong, and after that, you go to the next course, go to the next thing. Clean slate, done, go to the next thing. So staying mentally in the game. And like I said, keeping your mechanics and not trying to just trying to keep my mechanics too. That's probably one of the hardest things, even with the mental thing. It's just my mechanics and keeping what I do when I'm trying to drive the ball far, and what I do when I'm trying to chip it closer on the fairway. What to do when you got it in the rough, in the woods. Like, what do kind of your mechanics have to change depending on where the ball is. So just saying, okay, my mechanics need to do this when it's on the fairway. My mechanics need to be like this when it's in the rough. My mechanics need to be like this when I am in the woods. My mechanics need to be like this when I'm driving the ball off the tee. And so like that, I think those are my obstacles that I have noticed so far.
Mm-hmm. Do any of your friends play golf now? I know you mentioned back in high school. I'm not in high school, back in college, you had like some
Funny
play.
funny story. So I I was golfing with my dad, like I was doing, the grips and everything like that, and I didn't have my grip down, so I'm holding the club like a baseball bat, onto one on top of the other. So it was funny. I went and posted it on Instagram. Yeah, I know it's corny, whatever. Um, but a lot of people hit me up. One of my friends that I used to play, but he was a little bit older, but he was on a basketball team, so he plays golf all the time, and he was like, privately messaged me, like he privately messaged me, which was cool. He was like, "Yo, Eric, like your grip's wrong. You need to work on that grip, but your swing, kind of looks good. Hit me up when you want to play golf." And I hadn't talked to him really in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And there were other people that came out and were like, "Oh, you play golf? That's great. Um, Hit me up with when you want to play." I had one of my friends from a long old friend from Colorado hit me up. He was like, "Oh, I seen your picture, man. That's great. You're playing golf. You should come out to Colorado. We got great courses." And I'm like, "Whoa,
Mm.
whoa, take it easy. Like, I don't even know how to really play golf yet. I don't even have clubs yet." And like, people are all like, kind of, and people are reaching out to me and like, "Hey, like, let's play. Let's da da da." Now, like, I don't know if they want to play because they can get easy money or if they really want to just so I don't know what it was, but for people to reach out to me and just be like, "Yo, that's great that that support and old friends rekindling and being like, 'Yo, do you want to play? Like,
Yeah.
let's play," was pretty cool. So yeah, I did have a lot of friends that I really wasn't in contact with, like come out and say like, "Hey, I play golf. Like, let's play together one of these days."
And so speaking of like visiting Colorado, or do you plan to visit other places and play different courses?
Um, so this April, I'm going to Atlanta for my birthday, and my cousin actually that I played with before was like, "Hey, listen, when you're down in Atlanta, hit me up. We'll play golf." So this April, I plan to go down there. Hopefully, if the weather's good, it permits to go out there and play there. So that's the first thing. Maybe when I get a little bit better and I continue on. I'll probably try to like play at other places like a little bit farther away. I think since I'm still being brand new, I'm just gonna kind of stick locally to the
Mm-hmm.
to places that I know like that I can go to practice, and then I think when I get a little bit better, um or if I go like going on a vacation, I'm going with family and they play golf. That's probably the only time. But I don't have plans right now of like going to Colorado or Florida or I know South Carolina's a huge golf
Yeah.
so, like, I'm not planning on going to those just yet. I'm just going to take, like I said, one step at a time. And like I said, if I get better or when I get better, you know, just to, yeah, I'll probably start to go a little bit farther. But I'll stay locally for right now.
Mm-hmm. That's what's up. Um, what do you do in the winter? You're not able to play at these golf courses. So what have you been doing?
So, with everything happening right now in my life, I am doing an addition in the house, in on my house with my wife and my dad, and with COVID and everything happening, um, me personally, I haven't been doing too much, which is kind of bad, and there's no excuse for it. But these past couple of days, what I have been doing is I went to some pro golf stores and looked at some drivers, and I looked at some other clubs that I do need to upgrade for because the club that I have, some of them are kind of out of date. So
Mm-hmm.
I went there to look. I went to look a little bit and kind of get familiarized with it. I asked also one of the guys that I went to a Dick's to look at some clubs, and I said, "Hey, like, is there anything I could do, like, obviously in the wintertime to kind of keep going, keep, everything like that." So he gave me a couple of like things that I could have bought, like, just to keep the technique good and
Mm-hmm.
everything like that. He recommended me a club that had a certain weight to it. So I think it's an iron. It's shaped like an iron, so it's one of the clubs that's in your golf set. And what it does is when you come back to practice swinging, in the house or whatever like that, it's a weight. So if you're doing something wrong, it's gonna like the weight's gonna kind of come down or be more on the side that or something that you did wrong.
Mm,
So if you swing it right perfectly, it's gonna be very easy. It's gonna be very fluent.
mm-hmm.
It's gonna be very fluent. It's not gonna be any weight. If you do something wrong, or like you make a mistake or a blunder or whatever like that, it's gonna feel some type of weight in the front or in the back.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Right.
But like I said, I have not been really practicing lately because of life stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I plan to, when it gets nicer and everything like that, to kind of get back to it.
Get back out there.
Yeah.
Are there any like clubs you can join? Have you joined any Facebook groups for golfers or new golfers?
Well, what I have done personally, and I guess this is kind of practicing, is that when I went on Instagram, and everybody knows with Instagram and Facebook, if you put in something that you like or that you're trying to look up, it will basically blast your whole feed with it. So
Yeah.
if you look up, like, yeah, so like all of a sudden everything is coming up like this. So now I picked up like one thing for golf, like on Instagram, and there's a lot of pages there. So what I've been doing is I've been looking at people's stances, looking at people swing, a lot of breakdown videos of doing that. As opposed to like joining clubs or anything like that. I live in Pennsylvania in the middle basically of nowhere. I'm about 2 minutes from New York. Um, but I have not like technically went out and joined a club or anything like that yet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Maybe like I said, the only person I like really actually play golf with is my cousin Todd. But um, like I said, I just go to like I said, I'll go to pro shops or I'll just go on Instagram just to kind of learn certain things. But right now, like I said, I haven't really found a club or like a bunch of people that maybe go play golf together or anything like that. I don't know in my area if there is any, but I'll definitely take a look out. But for the most part, yeah, I would say when I go on Instagram, I'll look at certain pages and one Instagram page, I forgot what it was called. They made like a song to certain things. So like when you're chipping the ball or something like that, and they'll say this is what you need to do, and it's kind of fun things to remember, like when
Yeah.
you're about to do stuff like that, so you won't mess up or anything like that, or just to help you keep it in mind. But yeah, that's all like what I've been really doing because I haven't even been playing for like a year. I think I started a little bit late in the season. I think it
Mm-hmm.
was like July. It was like June or July, I think, like when I actually started to like get the lessons and everything like that. So by the time November came, um, everything was starting to close down,
Yeah.
the golf things, and also, yeah.
All right. What do you enjoy most about playing the game?
Me personally, what I enjoy about playing the game, I like that. Like you said, it's kind of like it's a mental thing. It's it's very like I said, you have to use first of all, you have to have patience, like in this game. Like you cannot. I'm telling you right now, I don't think that you cannot have patience in this game. It's not like hockey. It's not like football. It's not like basketball where it's fast paced. So it's a challenging thing for me because I'm used to that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a challenge, and that's and I obviously I like a challenge because you cannot sit there and just go fast with this game. It's not going to happen. The game takes a long time, and like I said, just the mechanics and the breakdown of everything is frustrating because you hit the ball and then the ball doesn't do what you want. You're like, what the heck? And I think for me, I'm kind of weird because I will sit there and I will hit the ball or do this or do that, and and it won't be right. And I'll sit down and be like, yo, I'm gonna get this. And then I think when that one time, and that's all it takes for me, that one time when you do hit it perfect and it does exactly what you want, it's just like it's like an amazing feeling. It's just like it took me 90 times, but I got that one. Like, in my
Mhm.
mind, it's just like, this one's going to be the best one. Oh, dang. Okay, this one's going to be the next one. And that's kind of what I'm chasing. It's like, oh, this one's going to be the great one. No, this one's going to be the best one. No, dang it. This one's going to be the best one. Ah. And then once you hit it that one good time, after you messed up so many times, it's just, to me, like, it's one of the, it was a great feeling. It's a great feeling for me.
Mhm.
But,
Yeah.
just the challenge, I think, of it, because it's not an easy sport to play. Like,
Mhm.
and that's one thing that they told me too. My dad to the instructors, like, this is not an easy game to play.
Mhm. Yeah, I can see that. I have been to the driving range a couple of times, and I like that, but I haven't, been on a course where I'm playing the actual holes. Oh, miniature
Right,
golf.
right. I mean,
Like
miniature golf is,
I'm playing
yeah,
miniature golf, and
miniature golf is like, you go to the driving range, and obviously, like, you ain't, you're just hitting the ball far. Like, you're not really trying to
I
like win.
know
You're just having fun.
top
Um,
golf.
yeah. So it's like, you're not into it like that. Yeah, you're just hitting the ball. You're just, mini golf. Oh man, crazy, like that. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I get a little frustrated at miniature golf. I'm like, all right, now let's
yeah.
go.
Like I said, same thing. Like, yeah, you're sitting there like, oh man, like, hey, you got 18 holes, so you
Oh.
can't get bogged down on the one hole because it didn't go your way. You can't sit there and throw your clubs like, screw this. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, you got to kind of keep going and be like, but some, like you said, you have that patience for that. You can't
Hmm.
just sit there and four holes into mini golf. I mean, you can do that and you're going to ruin the whole party, but if you want to do that, you go right the hell ahead. You do what you want. But at the end of the day, um, like I said, you have that patience for that. You have to sit there and hit the ball bad and kind of like you said, just block it out of your mind and try to figure out what you're doing wrong. And some people have the patience for it, and some people straight up don't. I'm sure everybody's seen a video of a person getting mad and throwing their clubs in the
Hmm.
water and
Hmm.
and, and being frustrated like that. And it's like, that's part of the game. You want to do that sometimes. It's you know,
Yeah.
like I
Yep.
said, it's part of the game. It's definitely patience building. Like,
Yeah. What advice would you give to anyone just starting out like you? What advice would you give to you when you first started?
um, the one advice I would say is, I mean, I should have played this game a lot younger.
Hmm.
So if I could go back, like, when I was maybe like 12, 13, I'd say, Eric, start playing golf. Yeah, I know you're into basketball, but when basketball season's over, do golf. Um, I would give myself, listen, just one, have fun with it. Um, have fun with it. Don't take it too seriously. Don't force anything, as opposed to thinking that I have to do this. I have to do that. And what I mean by that is, like, when I first play golf, like, I want to hit in the pro ranges. I'm not a pro. I want to hit in the 50s, 60s, 70s. I'm not a pro. I'm not, don't have that mindset. Don't sit there and be like, I mean, eventually you want to get there, but don't put so much on your plate when you're first trying out any sport, for that
Hmm.
matter.
Hmm.
Don't sit there and you want to try basketball out and shoot deep threes. Why? You don't know how to play. Like, you don't know how to do this. I know you do cycling. Like, hey, I wanna bike 50 miles. Whoa, buddy, take it easy. Let's try a mile out and see how you do that, and then we'll build on that. I think
Yeah.
just taking chunks and not, take chunks and not big bites.
Hmm.
Take little small chunks and then build on that. Um, I think that's one of the advice I'd give is just like, have fun. Don't You're not a pro. I'm past that age where I can even be a pro. I have a family, I have kids, I have a house and everything like that. So the pro days are over, Eric. You missed your shot. So you're not going to be hitting in the 60, 70, because you're not a pro. You can't spend 9, 10 hours on the golf course. So you do what you can do. Do what you can do. Um, Listen to people, but be careful of the information you're getting. Um, when I don't know about anybody else when they first started out, but when you know you hear somebody plays golf, there's so much information that people are trying to give you, and it was overwhelming me for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
My uncle came up. He was telling me one thing. My dad was telling me another thing. The pro golfer was telling me another thing. My friends are telling me another thing, and it overwhelms you. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it definitely does overwhelm you because it's like, and then you go on YouTube, and then it's even more overwhelming things. And I think what it is that you need to kind of do what I did: find a golf pro, like not your drunk uncle that can get money off of people. Not not like that. Like get somebody that's actually played golf professionally, like on a PJ tour. Like I said, every golf pro shop around should have somebody that is a pro golfer. Um, and learn from them. Like listen to what they did because you know why? They're pros. They they got to the highest level. My dad has not got to the highest level. He's just played regularly. My uncle Madison, yes, he's good. He won trophies and stuff like that, but he's not a pro. So reaching out for the right help. That's another thing because everybody will tell you everything that underneath the sun. You need to get this type of club so you can hit this far, or you need to get this type of club so you can do this, or you need to do this. And like you said, it's just so much information. So just deciphering what you need to like actually do or who to go to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but for the most part, yeah, just have patience and it will it will come. Like you said, this game can be very frustrating. You can be very, you get down on yourself and everything like that, and just enjoy. Like I said, just kind of like enjoying it and just having fun with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, have fun. I
Yeah.
like that golf, since you're on the course for so long, you're with someone for so long, it's great for networking. I really do. Even like I said, even though I haven't really played golf, I know that because you're spending so much time with these people. And, it's similar to cycling because you're going on a 40, 50-mile ride, 60-mile ride with people. You know, you're going to talk to them. You're going to speak to them at some point of the ride, whether while you're riding or when you stop. So I kind of equate it to that, you know, being in a space with them for a long period of time, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a great networking tool too.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's face it, a lot of rich people they play golf. So if you can get on a golf course and you can show them up, or you can like, show them that you're good and you can hang with them, they're gonna, like you said, they're gonna start talking,
Mm-hmm.
and you can get an opportunity out of just playing golf.
Yeah.
That's another thing about sports that I like is that people play sports. They love sports and they follow sports. Rich people are just like us. They just have more money. But what they do is they watch and they play certain type of games. Golf. I had one person I used to work with that was I worked for actually when I was in law, and he played basketball. He liked basketball,
Mm-hmm.
and he found out I played basketball, and he would always come talk to me, and everything like that. And it was a great networking skill. And then when I left there, it was basically like, hey, Eric, listen, if you need anything,
Yeah.
if you need a recommendation, if you want to come back, just let me know. Now, I'm not saying that if you play golf with your boss or with some rich guy, that's automatically going to guarantee you a job or not or an opportunity, but it definitely does not hurt either. It
Yeah.
doesn't not it don't hurt to play or to play at the same sport that you guys have in common, And yeah, like I said, there's people that have made like rich people, they've made deals with old golf courses, like
Yeah.
playing golf and everything like that. Like you said, they've made deals. People have gotten jobs and opportunities from that, and that's another good thing that like you said, you're around people. Golf's a long game. It's not like um, it's not like basketball where it's 12-minute quarter. It's 48 minutes. It's not like you know hockey where there's three periods. It's it's a long game. You're gonna be there hours,
Hours.
hours. You're gonna be there. Like I said, my uncle and them, they used to be gone the whole day. And like I said, come back and like you said, you're with those people for hours. So
Yeah.
like you said, like with cycling, like you're gonna eventually talk. You're gonna eventually talk to people. You're not gonna sit there, go on a golf course, and not say a word. That's
Yeah.
weird, but it is. It's the weirdest thing. It's like people just don't do that. Like you start, like you say, if you don't know anybody and you're on a golf course, you're gonna know that person probably pretty well at the end of it, at the end of the game.
Right?
Yeah,
Shout out to Uncle Roy, Uncle Madison, Uncle Wilson, um, for playing golf. You know,
yeah.
maybe one day I'll get out there and maybe, who knows? Maybe I'll go out there with you.
Maybe. Um, Fun fact too. I know Courtney said that our other cousin plays a little golf too, which
Oh
was
yeah.
weird that yeah, because remember I was on the phone with you guys one time and I was talking about like some of my golf stuff and she brought up like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I used to play golf because her dad plays golf a lot and now since he's retired he plays a lot more. So it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Shout out to Courtney as well, because she did mention that she plays
right,
with her dad from time to
right
time.
now. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if she's good or she said she has clubs and everything too. I don't know how good she is or not, but that's really cool of her though.
Yeah,
Like I said,
that
another
is.
thing. You're talking, hey, I play, and then all of a sudden, I didn't know she played golf. I know Courtney all my life. Didn't know who she even stepped on a golf course. Hey, I play golf, and guess what? Connect right there. Boom. Oh, I play golf too. Word? I didn't know you played golf. Yeah, like I've been playing golf for X amount of years. Dang, that's crazy.
Okay. All right. A cousin's golf trip. There we go. That's what it is.
Yeah,
I'll keep
funny.
score.
Yeah, I bet. I bet.
And I'll just hit the ball long,
You
and then
just want to
that's
hit the
it.
ball and just hit the ball long, and that's it. Yeah,
Yeah, and
you gotta
drive
start
around in the
someplace.
golf court, and drive around in the golf court cart.
Oh, and that golf cart, yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun, like driving around that golf cart until like you are playing in like wet, like if it rains or something like that, and then you're getting your golf cart stuck.
Oh
Then
no,
it's kind of annoying. Yeah, then it's kind of annoying.
no, I
I
don't want
played
to do
like
that.
that one time. Yeah, I did that one time with our with Todd, and we just kept getting stuck, so we had to like pull the golf cart. It was just it was a mess, but it was
Mm.
fun.
Any last words before you wrap up?
Um, I mean, like I said, if everybody, anybody out there that wants to try something new sport wise, just go out and kind of do it, or just find that person that's done it for so long or a professional to help you guide you in the right direction. Internet, the internet's there's a lot of stuff on the internet, and anybody can post anything at any time. I could be drunk and giving out advice that is absolutely wrong, and people will watch it and people will try it. And you think that people won't do it, but trust me, there's one person out there that will do that. So I think what you need to do is anything that you're going to try new is just gravitate or go around somebody that has been doing it or is a professional at it. Um, I think the second thing to anybody is, like I said, you're never too young or too old to try new things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not even just sports in general. That's in anything. You want to, you know, start your business and you are 55 and you're sitting there, you're like, I can't do it because I'm old. Like that's baloney. Like you can do it. Like don't let people try to limit you because of whatever their endeavors are. Oh, you're too old, or oh, nah, you're too young. Like no, like you do. Like I said, we all have the same amount of time in the day. We don't know when we're going to be leaving this earth. as
Right.
opposed to as opposed to death and everything like that. And one thing that like everybody says is like, I don't want to sit there on my deathbed, God forbid, if somebody gets a terminal illness and saying, "Oh man, I really wanted to do this. Oh man, I really want to do that, but they told me not to because I was too old." Or and now you're sitting on your deathbed and you have all full of regrets. And if you just go out there and try, even if you were awful at it, like at least you try.
Yeah.
Let the other people laugh at you. Like nobody, like okay, like you're a cornball for laughing at me because you're on the sideline not doing it. To
Mm-hmm.
me, like the people that are sitting there point laughing, either A, don't do it, or B, like are too afraid to take that step to do it. The
Mm-hmm.
people that know what you're going through, they're not gonna laugh. They're gonna try to help you out. I was topping the ball off. Like, I'd hit the top of the ball and it was embarrassing. It like went all the way in the woods and stuff like that. It was embarrassing. Like it was my first time, and nobody was sitting because everybody in the back of their minds thinks for some weird reason that they're gonna be laughed at. Everybody's gonna be pointing their fingers and be like, "Oh, ha ha ha, you stink, you suck, ha ha ha," and nobody's gonna do that. Nobody cares at the end of the day. When you're on the golf course and you're around other people and you top that thing or it goes someplace else, guess what? Nobody's sitting there going to be laughing at you. Nobody's going to be sitting there saying, "Ha ha ha, you suck," or whatever like that. Um, you just, like I said, you just do it. Okay, how did I top the ball? This. Just go back, see your mistakes, and then just redo it. But other than that, like yeah, just don't let people limit you on what you can or can't do or what you're interested in. Oh, you can't, it's just like if you want to do it, you go ahead and you find a way to get it done at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And everyone started somewhere, so
Absolutely.
it,
Everybody.
you know,
Yeah, nobody.
being a professional. Like I know how to do everything. You
Yeah,
don't, and you learn. And you're right about just if you want to try it, try it. If this is something that you want to continue doing, then you'll do it. If you tried it and you're like, this is not for me, then move on to something else that you want to do. But you're right. We hold ourselves back, and like, oh, I don't want to do it because I don't see anyone who looks like me, or no, I don't want to do it because people will laugh at me, or no, I don't think I'll be good at it. Well, you never know until you try. So, and you might love this sport or this activity or whatever, and then you might hate it, but you will never know until you try. And if that's something that you want to do it. Like Nike, just do it.
do it. Yep. Another thing too, I think that's really important. That I don't think a lot of people talk about. I think the one thing about the golf instructor that I think he asked me is like, do you like this sport? Because a lot of people will do something like a sport or whatever like that, and they feel like more like they're pressured into it. Like I could have sat there and I could sit there, I could have gotten into golf, and at the time I could have been like, oh, the only reason I want to play golf is because my dad
Mm-hmm.
plays golf, so I play golf, but I don't really like golf. If you really don't like a sport or you don't like a hobby anymore or whatever like that, it is fine to leave it. It is fine to find something else that you do enjoy. You're not a failure or quitter because you find no interest in a sport to play a sport anymore, and I feel like a lot of people feel pressured that they have to be in a certain sport or a certain area, but they really want to do something else.
Mm-hmm.
We always get those ones that are like, oh, I really, I don't really want to do this. I don't like it. I really want to do this. And they're like, well, I can't do it because, my dad plays and my uncle plays and, my grandpa plays. It's been a family tradition, so I can't break that family tradition. Bro, if you don't like the game or you don't like a sport, or you don't like a hobby, like it's no shame in just leaving and just say, hey, listen, this is not for me. I want to do this. There's no shame. Why are you gonna, especially a sport? Like, why the heck are you gonna play a sport and be like and don't like it and then continue with it? Because I think also like I could have sat there and just been like, yeah, I like it, just not hurt his feelings, but I really don't like it. And I think that's one important thing. If you really don't like the sport, don't feel obligated to continue it. If
Mm-hmm.
you really don't find interest in it, my rule is this: if you give it 3 lessons or or play 3 times. And if you don't like it or it's not getting any better, then if you want to leave, then go ahead and leave. That's my thing. But don't sit there and just do one tryout and then decide off of that one tryout or that one golf lesson or that one, lesson that you got because you topped the ball or you made an air ball. Like, don't judge it off of that. Like you said, if you don't like it, it's not a big deal. Nobody's going to sit there and be, critical of you if you don't like it. If you don't like it, you don't like it, But I think people do a lot of stuff that they just don't like, when it comes to stuff like that. Like, not like paying bills, stuff like that. Don't nobody like that. But, like, nobody like that. But that's what we got to do. But I'm just saying that if it's a sport and you just don't like it no more, like, there's no shame in leaving it and finding something else you want to do.
Yeah, you're right. I agree. Definitely could apply that to certain other parts of your life, not just activities. But yeah, I agree. And I want to thank you again for being a guest on my podcast.
Oh, not a problem. I enjoyed this.
I enjoyed it too. I learned a lot that I didn't know about your golfing journey. And so thank you. And then I hope that the audience learned something too and got inspired to either pick up golf or look into it or even start another hobby that they've been looking to get into. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. Hopefully I can come back on here one of these days when I'm a little bit more better and fill you in on more more of the trials and tribulations of golfing.
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely enjoy that and catch up to you and see how you're doing.
Yeah.
So I think that would be good. So be on the lookout for that. Have Eric back. This is the Rolling with Tay podcast. I'm your host, Tasia, aka Tay, and thanks for listening. Want more Rolling with Tay podcast? Well, follow on Instagram and Twitter at Rolling with Tay. Visit the blog rollingwithtay.wordpress.com for more content and be sure to sign up for the monthly newsletter. And lastly, subscribe to the YouTube channel Rolling with Tay.